Welcome to This Explainer. Our focus today is everything must be done for edification, looking specifically at the Bible, 1 Corinthians 14, verses 26 through 40. If you're stepping onto a college campus, or honestly any highly driven environment, we're about to unpack a transformative mindset that's going to completely shift your daily goals. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the Corinthian church chaos. Okay, to really get this, we've got to zoom out and look at the big picture historical context. The church in Corinth was, well, an absolute mess. You had this community where everyone was using their spiritual gifts, whether it was a hymn, a word of instruction, a revelation, basically as a ladder for personal status. Everyone wanted to show off all at once. It was a totally chaotic bid for attention, right? The gatherings had zero order, and they were definitely not glorifying God. They basically turned the gathering of believers into this noisy, self-centered competition. So how do you counter that kind of chaos? Well, the Apostle Paul introduces a core solution. In 1 Corinthians 14, verse 40, he writes, "But everything should be done in a fitting and orderly way." Notice what he doesn't do here. He doesn't tell them to just stop being spiritual, and he doesn't crush their enthusiasm. Instead, he introduces a framework of order. The idea is that since God is a God of peace and order, the way his people gather has to reflect that exact character. That brings us to Section 2, Paul's main argument. Paul's central point is that every single gift has to serve one singular purpose, building up the church. The theological word for this is edification. Paul totally recognizes that we all bring something different to the table, right? But the purpose of every contribution is exactly the same. It's got to be oriented outward. It's not about you. It's entirely about building up the people around you. Which leads us to Section 3, the campus culture clash. Now let's compare two totally different theories on how to operate, especially as college students. This clash is literally everywhere. On the one hand, you have secular campus culture. The whole goal there is to display your intelligence, flash your credentials, and win the status competition. You're always asking, how do I make a good impression? How do I look? But then flip the script to the disciple's mindset. Based on Paul's instruction, a disciple walks onto campus asking one very different question. How do I build up others today? It is a massive, radical shift from self-promotion to genuine intentional service. Moving on to Section 4, living it out daily. So, grounded in Reformed Calvinism theology, which really emphasizes God's sovereign order and our call to reflect his glory instead of our own, how do we actually do this? Here is the step-by-step process. Step 1. In every single interaction you have today, stop trying to impress people. Just ask, how do I build this person up? Step 2. Evaluate what you're bringing. Paul literally asks the church, when you come together, what do you bring? Ask yourself that as you walk into class. Are you bringing an attitude focused on others or just on yourself? And step 3, actively choose to be a source of peace. If there's chaos or competitiveness in your dorm, be the one who brings that fitting, orderly peace into the room. Now, Section 5, eagerness and order together. You might be wondering, does following a strict structure of order mean our faith is just going to be boring or restrained? Absolutely not. Paul is super explicit about this. He says, be eager to prophesy, but everything should be done in a fitting and orderly way. Passion and structure actually go together. Just because he's calling for order doesn't mean you should be timid or passive. He wants an order that naturally blossoms out of serving others, rather than just the chaotic noise of self-promotion. We really have to hit the nail on the head with this balance. Eagerness and order belong together. They are not opposites. You literally cannot let the command to be orderly become an excuse to just sit back and be passive. You still got to bring your gifts. But, on the flip side, you can't let your eagerness become an excuse to just create chaos. At the end of the day, you need to examine your spiritual walk this semester and strip away any chaotic behaviors that might be hurting others in your ministry. Structure exists so that everyone gets built up effectively. Finally, Section 6, the final reflection. This entire 14th chapter of 1 Corinthians is fundamentally about ordering your spiritual gifts to serve others. It's about dropping the need to impress and picking up the mandate to edify. So to wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with a clear, provocative reflection as you step onto campus. Who is one specific person on campus you are going to intentionally build up this week? Seriously, think of a name right now. Stop worrying about how you look and focus entirely on how they can grow. Go out there and be a source of God's peace today.